Welcome back, everyone, to Dr. Christy Cares. I'm Dr. Christy Matusiak, and as some of you know, I wrote a book that should be published here in the next couple months, and it's targeted towards those newly postpartum mothers out there trying to navigate their new world and see how they can help themselves thrive and help their babies thrive in the process. So today, this is the first of the series. In about 10 weeks or so, I'm going to be talking to you ladies out there, okay? Today, let's talk about pregnancy. Now, if this is, if you are just past this point, then let's still talk about it because there's a chance you may be pregnant again in the future, or if you're watching this just before you have a baby, it's all still important, okay? So let's just talk about when you first get pregnant, you go, oh my gosh, yay, this is so exciting. And oh crap, now what? How do we make sure that we ourselves stay healthy during the pregnancy? How do we make sure that our baby thrives as it's growing inside of us? First question is always, how do I have a healthy pregnancy? 4 tips for you. Number 1 is, of course, avoid the obvious toxins. The obvious things are tobacco, nicotine, and alcohol. Make sure you're not consuming those things, especially the first 2 at all, and alcohol definitely not in excess. Okay, there's some studies to show that a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of glass of wine here and there is not going to be a problem for you. Just use caution and do the smart thing for yourself. Number 2, exercise. If you were one that was exercising well into a good routine before you got pregnant, perfectly acceptable to continue exercising at that frequency and at that level that you were used to, okay? It might slow you down a little bit, especially as you get a little bit bigger. Nothing wrong with continuing your exercise routine. In fact, it's very healthy for you. It's good for your blood sugar, and then it's going to be good for your baby as well to keep that activity. Number 3, keep your healthy diet. If you don't know what I mean by a healthy diet, reference some of my old videos. It's important to get protein and vegetables, good fruits, lower sugar, those sorts of things. Of course, drinking tons of water. As far as protein is concerned, I highly recommend pregnant women consume at least 80 grams of protein per day. Now, of course, this is dependent on the person, how large they are, how much weight they're gaining, how much weight they're not gaining. So use some judgment as far as your own body is concerned, but generally speaking, 80 grams of protein is a pretty good bet for what you're going to need to keep yourself, keep your energy high and keep your growing baby healthy in the process. And number 4, my lovely recommendation here is see your favorite chiropractor. As you get through your pregnancy, we start to secrete a hormone called relaxin. That relaxin literally starts to break down your ligament tissue. So you go from having a nice taut ligament like this to it starting to sag and open up. This is, of course, normal because your body's preparing to birth a child, and your pelvis has got to open up in order for that to happen. So that said, in that process, it can be a little uncomfortable. You can feel a little instability in your low back or even some pain, and chiropractors help mitigate that pain, that discomfort for you. And on top of all that, benefits for the mother, benefits for the baby are that they get a little bit more room in the pelvic area so that they can move around more freely, and it tends to prevent breech positions and ease the number of hours and the amount of discomfort that you experience during labor and delivery. So win-win-win across the board. So that's what I wanted to touch on with regard to pregnancy. There's, of course, a whole bunch more that we can talk about with regard to pregnancy here, but I just wanted to give you a couple basic tips here. If you are pregnant or if you plan to get pregnant again in the future, that's some tips for you. If you like this content, please subscribe, share with your friends and family. Next week, we're going to talk about birth and why it matters and what you can do. So again, until next week, Dr. Christy Matusiak here with Dr. Christy Cares, wishing you a fantastic day and a healthy life.